Here at Olympia Gallery with artist Judith Salmon, and so great to actually formally
Thank you.
meet you
Yes,
and
absolutely.
have this chat.
Yes.
What I wanted to ask first of all, is this more of a retrospective type show, or is it motivated by a particular set of circumstances?
Particular set of circumstances.
In other words, what would be the general thinking behind this theme?
Okay.
Yes.
Well, there are multiple themes here, but the kind of sustaining one is memory and journey, and particularly middle passage journey. Um, uh, the show is a bit of a retrospective because I haven't really had a show in 20 years,
Right.
a single show, solo show. So therefore, the works didn't just roll off last year.
Yes.
I've had them, and how artists work. Well, at least how I work is I dig down deep into a theme or an idea, and then when it's run its course, I will move on to something else. So there are some overlapping themes here, and overlapping motifs
Yes.
and ideas that can you could see where they're spinning off each other.
Yeah. When you talk about motifs, there's two that kind of struck me in particular. One, looking at this piece here with the cross, which kind of recurs in a couple of other pieces,
Yes.
and the other one seems to be the nest. And I think there's a set of black and
Around
white here,
there.
right?
Oh, okay.
Talk about the cross first of all,
Okay.
and then we can look at that other inspiration.
Yes. Well, I've been attracted to the symbol of the cross, to the kind of strong vertical horizontal juxtaposition of these elements. So I've been doing it for quite a long time in different expressions, like that one over there is a cross. You could see there are three over there, right? And somebody says to me, but the paintings over there look like a cross too because they're standing and they have
Yes.
the strong horizontal. So it's something that recurs.
Yeah.
And so these particular ones are made. They're like assemblages,
Right.
and from found objects, bottle caps. And my idea is I'm bringing something that's discarded into a place where it can be seen. And that applied to me in a way, and to many people who travel and have a diaspora experience, because we are kind of at the edge of the society that we enter,
Yeah.
and you want to find a way to come and be more in the middle or in the center.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting it is put it that way because I've always thought of us here in the Caribbean, especially, as kind of in between people. We're in between the sort of north
North and
developed, so to speak, kind of situation with America and the European countries, and then our brothers to the south, who are more Hispanic and other types of,
yeah,
of cultures.
yeah.
I was wondering how you feel about that.
Well, Jamaicans are in between people that fit into everything.
Yes, indeed.
Our kind of nebulous kind of in between personality or persona allows us to fit in everywhere. So we're there everywhere. That's Jamaicans.
We can't be kept out.
No, we're not going to be kept out at all.
I wanted to move. You mentioned those pieces with a strong word, but I also wanted to talk about the three pieces I mentioned.
And the next.
Yes. That's what it suggests to me.
Okay. There you go.
Let's tell us a little bit about the process behind it. Because there's another thing that is leading to also in your work, which is the pockets and the introduction of text.
That's right.
Yes. So let's talk about it.
The text?
Yes.
Well, I think text is communication. You use it, you speak it,
Yeah.
but it's great to see it. And when you see it visually, maybe it has a different weight or something.
Yeah.
But I like to write on my work. I like to. And this was talking about here today, gone tomorrow.
Ah,
So there is that feeling of
transient.
transience or
Yeah.
temporality to
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
When I was studying, I was interested in building things, and I found some reeds, something that grew by water, and I made this carrier. It felt
Okay.
like a boat, but it's
So let's call it a vessel.
a vessel.
Yeah.
I made this vessel, and I did some big drawings on vessels and all of that. But that was before I did these here.
Right.
So it was like a preliminary, what's called it, a foregrounding.
Yes.
Yeah. So I did those, and the ink, the medium is a Japanese ink
Right.
medium called Sumi.
Okay.
And then I printed on it using the same those crochet things up there.
Right.
So I print. So my way of working is to enrich the surface, enrich the layers, and many different layers of things going on.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So you can start here and go back and go back.
Right.
You can ask me why is this brown and whatever.
Well, I was going to ask you why this one sort of fundamentally different from the other two.
Well, that
doesn't have any
came
pockets.
last.
Yeah.
So by the time you kind of work through things, you come to a simpler
Right.
version of
So you minimize in a sense.
Yes,
Yeah.
you get more minimal and maybe more. You don't want to put. I didn't want to have a heavy hand on it.
Right.
I just wanted to use the material and let it flow, more like a wash.
Yes.
It's more like a wash.
And in a sense, to me, I mean, even though I really love that one, just visually, there is a certain level of focus here that is very powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called a sense of time and passage.
Right.
Time, which is so elusive.
Yeah.
You in working, you're utilizing time. It's like you're making time productive, and you're putting it in the work.
Yeah.
And passage is just a journey that we're on.
Yes.
And as we said, that's the vessel. And behind it there now is it has almost like a form, like it could be a figure.
Yeah.
There's no head, but it kind of feel like it could be a shirt or something that people would wear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of passage, I mean, let's talk about these two in particular. I mean, I know there are several of the, I said, the sort of
Yes.
upright vessels.
Vessels, right. So, about 20 years ago, I had an opportunity to go to West Africa, to Senegal.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a great opportunity. I didn't stay long, but it had such an impact on me and on my work. It really pushed my work into another kind of introspective
Yeah.
work.
What would you say was like your instant reaction to being there before you even thought about doing any work per se? Just landing there and taking in what was presented to you.
Well, first of all, we landed in the middle of the night. I was totally out of it.
Yes.
When we got there in the airport, crowded airport, like so confusing. One of the attendants saw our passports and he said, "Oh, it's a man coming, it's a man coming." He says, "Oh, come." I mean, it's the first time ever going anywhere,
Yes.
and people are excited about seeing the Jamaican passport. Usually they just want to throw it at you. I'm telling you, you
Yes.
don't get a good response as a Jamaican using and this was a long time ago. So, and then he reached into his shirt pocket and he took out what we call busy, but it's I don't know what they call it. Cola nut. It's cola nut.
It's color, basically, yeah.
Yeah. And he bit off a piece of the cola nut and he gave it to me and he said, "Take a piece." And to my son, and he took a piece, and then he said, "Welcome home."
Oh, wow.
Oh, boy, I'm
That
telling
must
you.
have been an emotional thing.
Oh, God.
Oh,
So,
wow.
that in the middle of the night, in my confusion,
Yeah.
somebody saying, "Welcome
Yeah,
home."
wonderful. Yeah.
Oh my God! So you feel like
crazy.
you're part of the inside experience, not just a visitor.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. There are people who write about going to Africa and feeling excluded and being outside of it. I never had that experience. I felt very much inclusive. And even though Senegal is a francophone country
Right.
and I speak no French, but I felt like, you know, I'm at home.
Yeah.
with
You were never
friends.
felt made to feel like an outsider.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it was clear that I was different because I wore jeans and then, boy, they could dress over there. The women could dress. So I enjoyed a few days, but the profound thing for me was going over to Gori, which is an island
Yeah.
off of the coast.
No way. Yeah.
You've been there?
No, I haven't been to Africa yet,
Yes.
but
Okay.
I've read a lot about it.
Yeah, so I
Before.
had that opportunity and that absorbed my time because I wanted to go there every day.
Yeah.
I wanted to see all that they had, and it was profoundly traumatic. I mean, I got through the experience, but when I came back to Jamaica, that's when I really felt
That's all you.
Mm.
And so these boat pieces and those and so they came out of that reflection.
Yeah. Is this something
And that
tangential?
yeah, tangentially, yes, because then I was doing my masters and I came upon wax. And what is this wax? And my mom had died, and that was a great loss.
Yes.
And
I've experienced that.
yeah, it was a tremendous loss. And I felt like, the book tells us where we are. If we are standing here in a physical way, we are creatures of time and space,
Yeah.
although we are spiritual creatures. And so I said, I'm going to do this meditation on the foot. So there,
Yes, that's
your
right.
feet
Right.
and so on. And then I did this wax thing on my own feet and produced those things.
Oh.
So they talk about here and not being here. They talk about presence because they are shaped.
Yeah.
But there's a hollowness inside them.
Ah.
So then there's an absence. And then it also refers to our own experience as black people,
Yeah.
because we were just torn away from our roots, culture, and no matter
We
how
put it
you
just
want to
right.
cut or shape it, there's this absence,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so
We've been put into a new ground, basically.
we've been planted anew, and we have to survive,
Yeah.
and we found ways to thrive, and to re-identify with Africa, because
Mhm.
Africa has changed. It's not what we left there 500 years ago.
Right. Right.
It's changed. So we've found ways to recontextualize ourselves and new ways, Rastafari
Yep.
and all of our new ways of being in the world we have.
Yeah.
But I still think we haven't quite addressed the trauma of loss and the awful experience
Right.
of chattel
Yes.
slavery.
Right.
We haven't really quite addressed it, and it is imprinted in our people in a way, and we brutalize each other, So
Yeah.
it's still playing out.
Yes, it is.
It's still playing out. 1838 is when we had emancipation in
Right.
1938. It's not even 200 years.
Yeah.
We haven't quite worked it out of
Yeah.
our system.
Yeah. And it's kind of doubtful that we even can. work it
That
out.
we even can.
Yeah.
Right, so these pictures
Yes.
came about because prior to them I was doing some archway shapes.
Mhm.
And as you can see, that is like an archway,
Yeah.
but now it's more pointed.
Yeah. And I love that Amy says there.
And I did pull on Amy Césaire. But I think that we did more than just um, talk about our nothingness. You know, we create it. We are very creative people. If we are nothing else, that
Yeah.
is why we have survived.
Yep.
You know,
But this is it. Just as we fit in everywhere, we can make something out of anything.
we can. And so maybe that is kind of my attitude when I left Jamaica and I went away to school. That was my own choice. Um, but I had no material.
Right.
I left everything at home. So I had to find something to work with. I was in a program that was art based, but I had no canvas or no money to get all of that. So I went to the supermarket, and over there, you know, there's a distinction between paper and plastic. That's one of the first things I noticed. Would you like paper or plastic? So I took all the paper bags I could get, and I used that matrix, that surface substrate to work on. So in my first 2 years there, I just worked on brown paper bags.
Wow.
Wow.
And, you know, I would cut them open, hang them up, print on them, stamp on them, sew on them, whatever, because I had to make the art.
Put multiple pieces together.
Multiple pieces. I got all kinds of Jamaicanness to put on it. Oh, I used, there was a thing that had, I can't remember the plant, but when it dries, it has a very thin petal. So I used
Oh, okay. So
to press on
pressing,
it. Yeah, so, you know, I found some way to be expressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this last thing that I want to raise. I mean, we probably don't have enough time to get into it as much as I want. We're here at Olympia. It's a great gallery. They've done a lot of shows. But if you look around Kingston now, I mean, you know, experience what the art scene would have been.
Yeah.
Things are just not what they were and what I think they ought to be. I don't know what your take is on that.
Well, you know, Michael, I am going to make things how I would like them to be
All right.
as much as possible. I am not going to sit down in one place and say, oh, it's not how I would like it. I am going to do something. I am going to put myself into the arena and do something. And maybe it will inspire other people to do something. Maybe we can have groups of artists coming in here, you know, having bigger group shows, or maybe we can artists can find a place that they could collectively rent and run as gallery spaces. You know, art must be seen, and we must move it out. You know, we must
Yeah.
move it out. You know, a lot of things are not in our control, but we do have some things in our control, and that is putting the work out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. That's a good note of us to end on.
All
Well,
right.
thank you so very much.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Michael,
And we
for
look forward
coming.
to having more talks like this.
All right, great. So
And the show continues
there's a reading there.
until
April
April
26th.
26th. Judith Salmon, Home to Self at the Olympia Art Center. Make sure you come check it out.